The colocation sector has separated and seemingly reached more than one inflection point, but analysts say this might not be the one. Joining me now in Toronto at Structure Research's Infrastructure Summit 2023 is Jeremy Pease, CEO of Colohouse. And Jeremy, thanks so much for talking to me. What is happening in the colocation market? What's the separation about, the inflection point? Give us your spin of the state of the market.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you today. Honestly, it's an interesting time. AI obviously is having a huge impact on the space right now, and it's demanding a lot of space. It's also demanding a lot more power within co-location facilities per rack than what we're used to in the industry today. As the hyperscalers are trying to anticipate how they deal with that demand, as well as those of us in the co-location space trying to provide that amount of power and space. It's an interesting time to figuring out how to balance the difference between the AI requirements as well as all of the other applications that are required.
Without wanting to sound very dramatic, do you think this is now a change or dying moment in the industry?
I think it's a changing moment in the industry. I think there's still a lot to happen within the industry. I think we see a lot of trends that move in and out, but you see companies are continuing to move to cloud solutions, to co-location solutions. You will continue to see that demand, and data is going to continue to grow and continue to expand through different technologies. AI is just another trend in the midst of what continues to be a very growing space.
Well, at least you sound excited about it all, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I was going to say as well, the industry seems to be maturing, or not maturing, but kind of metaphorically into the next phase, which is the services and tailoring of services and how those are delivered. Because in the old days, I guess it was one size fits all. No longer is the case, because you have financial people, you have gaming companies, you have healthcare, you have many other different sectors, and we're starting to realize where the data needs to sit according to the data usage and the end use of that workload. How has service deliverability changed in the colocation sector?
Yeah, I think it's changed dynamically over the last 10 years. 10 to 15 years ago, you used to look at the space and you used to see that companies would build infrastructure and then figure out how they were going to put all their applications on top of it. Well, now the data and the database and everything about an application is defined first, and then they figure out how they're going to support that with the underlying infrastructure to ensure that it's meeting the performance needs. And so you have to look at it from, there's so many pieces to compliance, to security, to connectivity, to performance. And so they're realizing that they have to focus their teams on their applications and their business, and they're looking at service providers such as us to be able to handle all the pieces that deal with infrastructure and all of those different components. So they're looking more and more to the providers on this side to be able to do all of those pieces while they focus on their application and their business.
And I was going to ask specifically about Colohouse. How have you adapted to all this? How long have you been adapting to it as well? Is it hard? Is it challenging? What are the opportunities to play that game?
Yeah, I mean, we're continuously trying to make sure that we can provide those services in different ways for the customer, right? And so what we've been doing to adapt is continuing to ensure that we're offering the newest technology when it comes to cloud services, making sure that we have the backups necessary, disaster recovery options, security and compliance options, as well as bare metal solutions and co-location solutions. Applications demand different types of infrastructure to support them, and so customers are looking for different types of solutions within bare metal or cloud or co-location. And so it's a matter of being able to offer them all those different pieces so they can come to one provider and say, man, they can provide that whole solution to me in many different markets, and then I can trust them to be my one solution provider to go to. And so that's how we've been continuing to build those solutions, those capabilities, so that we can support our customer base the way they expect.
Interesting. And in terms of real estate footprint, you've got quite a few data centers across North America. I'll have to read them out because it's Miami, Orangeburg, Dallas, Phoenix, Albany, Colorado, Philadelphia, Chicago, and Atlanta. And you also have a leg in Amsterdam, in the Netherlands, in Europe. So
that's correct.
We'll talk about that in a second. Let's focus on the US first. What's the expansion plans, and what other markets are you going to go into?
Yeah, I think right now we're focused on the West Coast. That's the one place we really don't have a presence, whether that's California up to Seattle. So really, we have a high presence on the East Coast, a little bit throughout the central part of the country, but we obviously need to be able to give our customers a little more presence on the West Coast, and we have customers with demand right now. So we are absolutely in talks and working on being able to provide solutions on the West Coast.
Okay, which then makes sense to also go into the Netherlands. So tell us about Amsterdam. Why Amsterdam, and what's the expansion plans in Amsterdam and who knows in the wider Europe?
Yeah, absolutely. No, that was customer demand, and it really has driven us to expand internationally. That's our first point of presence, but we have customers looking at different locations, and so it will be one of those things where it's an opportunity either based on an acquisition that has capabilities across internationally, or whether it's a customer demand where they need us in a certain point of presence. We'll absolutely go after that and make sure we find the right location for them.
Okay, and you've been appointed CEO of Colohouse just about a year ago. I think we literally like 10 days away, 12 days away now.
Absolutely.
Any regrets?
No.
How's it going?
It's going great. I mean, we've accomplished a lot in a year, I believe. We rebranded and brought the entire company together. We're actually consolidating the final brand underneath the Colohouse umbrella right now as we speak. And so pulling all that together, managing integrations, building new product lines, which we're excited to come to market in 2024. The business has done a lot of work in the last year, and we're excited about the growth potential ahead of us now.
Okay, if we look into the longer term future, what's the dream? Where does the company want to go?
Yeah, I think for us, it's really being able to complete the vision of what we have as an organization. Being able to bring all the technologies to bear that our customers are looking for out of a service provider like us, specializing in retail colocation, bare metal, cloud, networking and connectivity, security and compliance, putting all those components together, but really building an automated platform around it that allows us to provide automation to the customer when they need it, but then providing the customer service they need on the back end as well.
Okay, and then so Jeremy, so we are in Toronto for Infrastructure 2023. When we meet here again in 12 months' time, what's your one prediction of something that will have happened to the industry? And it does not need to be necessarily just North American, be global, it can be whatever you want, but one thing that in 12 months we're going to be talking about. Yeah,
I think the one thing we'll be talking about is this demand for AI and the different pieces that are happening now, the inflection point that we're at. I think there's going to be a change. It's interesting how technology has these cyclical trends. We went from trying to get the smallest cell phone possible to the biggest, now we've gotten back to a normal size of a cell phone, right?
And the folding ones as well.
Exactly, right? And so the interesting thing is there's a lot of the new technology is requiring not only power density, but weight density, and we're getting back to this expansive piece where raised flooring may not be the complete future of what we're looking at. We might have to go back directly to slab based on the weight of some of these solutions that are necessary. So I think that's an interesting trend that we might see continue to expand in the near future, and something we might be talking about next year at this time.
It's very interesting because there was actually one Canadian player who's flipped the data center design upside down, because there's no raised flooring, and what usually is underneath the flooring is now in the ceiling.
Correct.
So the heavier load is on the actual floor of the building. So that's very interesting.
Yeah.
But Jeremy Pease, CEO of Colohouse, thank you so much for talking to me. As for your home, thank you for watching. Do check our website and give us a follow on social media for more timely news of the digital infrastructure sector worldwide. At Tech Capital, you lead, we report. Bye for now.